And it is mail call. Good evening, folks. Reloading Bench back with you once again. And we've got a package. This is from our friends at Midway, even though it doesn't say Nitro Express. And it definitely wasn't Express. If anything, they have slowed down. Slowed down. No Nitro. What's the opposite of Nitro? What's the opposite of Express? Snail pace. Not fast. Not fast. But I saw this, and I said to myself, you don't need that. And no sooner than later I was clicking buy. Wow, they don't even send paperwork anymore. So this is Hornady Redbox material. And what makes these two dies interesting is they are to make blanks. Anywhere from 22 to 45. So, I thought, that's kind of interesting. So apparently blanks are really expensive. Like $1 a round or something. $1 a shot or whatever the right terminology is for blanks. So I thought that was quite interesting. I don't know that I have, that's, to me, that's maybe the cowboy shooting action stuff. I don't know that I have a need for blanks. But again, too good to pass up. So, we will open these. And my OCD is going to get me. Wanting to keep the label nice. Wanting to keep the label. Somebody will complain about it. Somebody always complains. There's always a complaint. Well, that is a really difficult label to want to cut. Yes, you are a difficult label to cut. All right, so that's what the dies look like. They're long. They're really, really long, which, what was the extent of the die? From what to what? 22 to 45 caliber. So that would encompass 223, 4570. Well, these don't fit. I don't know if it's supposed to go. Yeah. I have no idea how it's supposed to go. Well, that looks freaking dangerous. So I don't know anything about these. I think this is the Crimp starter. And this is what, kind of like shotgun, Crimp start and then Crimp finish. So again, I don't know anything about making blanks. I'm assuming it's, just a primer and an empty shell. No, we have directions. Uh-oh, we have a piece of something. And we have a couple pieces of something. Universal blank dies. Yeah, I'm not going to open this because those little pieces will go everywhere. So I will download those instructions and print them. Shell holder. Yeah, what kind of? Okay, so that's what that one should have looked like. And then maybe this one should have been like that. Okay, that's what it kind of looks like. Now we know. So that will be that will be my thumbnail for this. So this is the unboxing and first look. So all you people who complain about he didn't even make a blank, that's right, because this is an unboxing and first look. The make a blank will be in the make a blank video. People seem to confuse unboxing and first look with whatever they want it to be in terms of extra info. So this is part one. This will be the unboxing and first look. Again, I'm not making a blank, so don't bitch and moan about the video didn't even make a blank, and it didn't take 10 minutes to open the box either. So later. Good evening, folks. Reloading Bench back with you once again, and tonight is a continuation. Now that I printed the instructions that I didn't want to rip out of here because they're in a cute little sealed package that I'm not going to mess with, but they seem to be pretty straightforward. So we'll play with some 45 ACP. I've never seen a blank 45 ACP. It's a 4-page instruction set. Very simple instructions. Start with approximately 2 inches. So you start with this, I call this the deadly die. It's like a Chinese. That was probably racist. Okay. I'll start with approximately 2 inches of the adjusting screw showing above the adjusting screw lock ring. So they call this the adjusting screw lock ring. There's nothing to lock, so I don't know why they call that. 2 inches, holy shit. That's a lot. Oh, this is probably why too, because all right, that's almost 2 inches. I wonder if it'll fit in oh no, it'll still fit in the case, you know, even with the 2 inches extended. All right. So, and they also give you the reference diagram. So again, crimp start to approximately 2 inches. So we're right on the money for 2 inches. Yeah. All right, so we're right on the money and they call this the crimp starter sleeve. So this picture of death here is the crimp starter sleeve. Boy, that could F somebody up big time. All right, so start with approximately 2 inches, blah, 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 blah. Place the cartridge case in the shell holder and run the RAM to the top. Place cartridge in the shell holder and run the RAM to the top of the stroke of the press. All right, so I'm going to put this on my press, my Lee turret, so you can hear me doing this. I will probably put this all the way up there for now, and then I will screw, and somebody will be like, oh, you didn't clean your die. Exactly, I didn't, because I'm just testing this. All right, so I am now moving it. I could probably share this. One moment, please. Let me reposition. The camera is right in the way of everything, but for adjusting's sake, again, we're not making bullets here, YouTube. We're not making anything. We are showing how something adjusts. Place the cartridge in and run the RAM. Okay, so we have our cartridge, and that will clear. The RAM is all the way up / handle down. With the RAM at the top of the stroke, RAM is at the top of the stroke of the press. Thread the crimp start die into the press until one of the following happens. The crimp start die makes contact with the cartridge case. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is too short. Some rifle cases. And B, the crimp start die contacts the shell holder, meaning all the way down. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm watching my handle down there that you can't see, and I will. All right. So now the die has touched the shell holder. So now we will bring this back up. If the crimp die contacts the shell holder, unthread the die 1/2 to 1 full turn. Okay, so this is 1/2. At this point, the crimp die lock ring can be threaded against the press. All right, so we did a 1/2 turn. All right, so now, if the crimp start sleeve has not made contact with the cartridge case, thread the adjusting screw onto the die until contact is made. All right, so let's see what happens. I'm gonna go under the camera. Okay, so I can see the teeth, are fully displayed. You can't. Nothing happened. Okay, so that tells me we need to go another 1/2 turn. Which way did I go? Okay, so we're going to lock that back up again. So we're still good. It's this screw, dumbass. Until it makes contact. Okay, so if the crimp start sleeve has not made contact with the cartridge case, thread the adjusting screw into the die until contact is made. Sorry for the hand. Maybe I'll do it this way. Okay, we now have contact. Okay, we now have contact. Obtain a star-shaped crimp by lowering the ram of the press and threading the adjusting screw onto the die. Okay, so you just continue. So we will continue doing that. You don't see anything. I'm doing 1/2 turns. I can feel something happening. All right, so now you can start to see a crimp. Very interesting. Again, 1/2 turns. More 1/2 turns. More 1/2 turns. So we're definitely getting a star. Getting a lot more star. Never done this before, so I'm not sure what to really expect. The instructions also said that you might not, depending on your star, so you can clearly see my star. I'm a star. Yeah, okay, bad humor. I still think the utility here is cool. No idea how much before my star closes. A little more aggressive on that one. Getting low on threads. My star is getting tinier. Looks like I could make little star cookies. Since there's no powder, and I believe, I saw some video, some guy, he paints his blanks with like red paint or some other color of paint. Oh, we're getting a much tinier, we're getting a very tiny star now. So I don't know how tiny my star needs to be before I use this die, which essentially puts a little roundy crimp on there. Again, I'm not sure. This isn't my bag of tea. Cup of tea, bag of tricks. Not really sure how tight that's supposed to be. I'm sure somebody will tell me, as they always love to, you're doing it wrong. Someone will complain about how many strokes to get the star. All right, my star looks pretty tight. Let me see if I can get it to close. All right, with each, that's getting, oh fuck. Didn't want to do that because now I'm, so that's what I look like right now. It's very interesting. So I'm wondering if now that will throw off or if it finds itself. All right, it's almost closed. Yeah, I'm worried about am I finding where I was? Something tells me we will be sacrificing this particular 45 ACP. Again, I'm trying to figure out how close I have to be to really. That's looking pretty close. I don't know, what do you guys think? All right. So we will take a freshie fresh, and I'm going to get some Imperial wax out, just because. And then let's see what one stroke. I'm going to have to come around the camera. Everything in the way. All right, so one stroke. It didn't look too bad. That's what. Where's my sample? I mean, I don't know how much closer that's gonna get, because I think that looks pretty good. All right, so obtain a star-shaped crimp, blah blah blah, razor blah 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 blah. The crimp start die set. In some instances, the crimp start die will sufficiently close the cartridge case to form the blank round, and no finish crimp will be necessary. If a finish crimp is necessary to close the case mouth, remove the case startup die from the press. Continue with step 8. Repeat steps 1 through 6 using the crimped cartridge case. Say that 3 times fast. With the finish crimp die until the cartridge case mouth is closed enough for the desired blank. Okay, so let's move this over. And something tells me I am not going to make this 2 inches. That's for dang sure. Let's put these on opposite sides of each other. And let's put our case in. And let's see what happens if we run this down. Will it touch? Okay, we've just bottomed out. So then it said, if we do bottom out, in which case, unthread the die 1/2 turn. All right, so we will take that out. We will unthread a 1/2 turn. Then we'll lock this down. Finger tight. Then we will turn this until... Okay, we have now made... I feel like we've made contact. I could be wrong. Maybe we have not. Maybe that was just a dirty die. Okay, there's contact. All right, so let's see what happens. Nope. 1/2 turn. Nope. 1/2 turn. Nope. 1/2 turn. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. 1/2 turn. Oh, that felt like something there. 1/2 turn. Okay, I can definitely feel something going on. All right, so where is our... Here's our original. You can see something happening. Let's go another... Let's do a 1/4 turn. You can feel something and you can see something. Yeah, you can see it tightening up. Another 1/4 turn. Okay, that definitely looks different. Let's go another 1/4-ish. Yeah, I definitely felt that one. So I don't know how closed this should be. I ain't never made none of this before, but that's pretty closed. Okay, so that's, I'm gonna say that's too much because now we're damaging. So I'm gonna go back a 1/2 turn. Let me blow that off with a little air. So that to me looked like it was too much because it looked like fins, the outside was bending, whereas this looks pretty straight up. So we back that out. Let's take another sample. Put a little grease up on here, a little wax rather. Let me go over here and back up, get some leverage. One nice, smooth, no hurry star start. Okay, so that looks nice. Now we will see if I effed it up with this. And that was very positive. All right, and everything looks straight. Straight as in, maybe if you can see, straight as in these are straight. Whereas, let me clean this up a little bit. Looks like we have a little waxy buildup. So, straight is in the sense that all of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The star, the edges of the star seem to be quite straight. whereas my FUBAR, you can see I'll call them the pedals. The pedals are bent. Hopefully that's focusing. You can see they started to go into that circular motion, whereas this is the control that nothing was done with the so we're going to call this before, during, and after. So I'm going to say that's pretty cool. That's a success. So obviously these were all no buenos. All right. So I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, that is, so this one, that's a no-go, too aggressive. And I will lock ring these, because I don't know that I'll be leaving them in the turret, but I will lock these in this setting, because these are set. This is set, actually it's set for 45. I could probably do the same thing for 9, and well, any other cartridge up to, what did it say? Up to 45 caliber, so 4570. I can make 4570 blanks. I think that's kind of cool. So we're going to call this, let me put my winner. Where's my winner? That was my baddie. We're going to call this a win. All right, we're going to call this a success. So the 2 dies, the Star Crimp starter and the Star Crimp, I don't know, for lack of a better term, sealer. These are set for 45 ACP, as we can see here, and I won't be leaving these in the turret. My need to make blanks is next to 0. So again, this is one of those, hey, cool to have, cool to be able to do, but just not something I need on a regular basis. But if you look at, and the picture is probably hard to see, and people are like, dude, why do you always show pictures? Why don't you just put the picture in the video? Maybe I'll do that. So when you look at, there's a 45 ACP. This mine doesn't look as good as that, because this is my Start Star. But here's my finished product. So this would be start, before, as I said, during, and after, and you can see the difference. Hopefully you can see the difference. Let me put something white as a background. I don't know if that'll help or not. I never know with the camera what it's focusing on. But in any case, this finished crimp looks just like that one right there. Nice straight spines. It's not completely sealed like a roundy round. Could this go a little more? Maybe a little more, but I'm happy with it. And again, my need for blanks, there's no powder in these. It would just be a primer. So it's essentially, the equivalent of squib, but without a bullet. So again, a nice way to make blanks for cowboy action shooting. And, I don't know if those little, contractor guns, I don't know what size caliber those take. I want to say they're like probably 22. Looks like 22 blanks. But again, I still think that's extremely cool. Maybe those are 380 because you need a primer. But it came out great. Again, my FUBAR one, not so much, but my before, during, and after, I'm going to call that a wrap. So again, there's my thumbnail. Later.